So tonight I got a couple of really great bottles that I've been itching to try. One that I've had my hands on for a few weeks, just been waiting for the right opportunity and the right occasion to drink it. Tonight's the night. The second bottle was more of a random find. Got a phone call from a local store. Said they got 3 of these in. Really didn't know much about it. Then rather than dig into the internet and do some research on it, I said, well, you know, I'll take a chance at it. It was MSRP. It wasn't something that was secondary markup. So we're going to give it a shot. And after tonight, I'll either be super happy that I spent the money or really disappointed that I threw away 95 bucks. But I'm going to be the judge of that, and you can be the judge of how silly I am with my money. Follow along. All right, so you may recognize my back bar here is my palatial bar away from home and my travel trailer down here at work. I've pared back significantly. I used to have a whole bunch of bottles sitting here from things that I tried and did reviews on, but we recently went camping, so I had to strip all those bottles out, and I've pared back to some of the basic essentials that I take a little sips and pours here when I'm down on my work itch. Now, putting the focus back on the bottle, the one we're going to break into first tonight is this Doc Holliday single barrel cask strength. Now, don't be confused or fooled by saying, oh, I've seen that bottle in stores. Guarantee you haven't seen this one. This not only is it single barrel cask strength, it's also 10-year. This is actually, according to the folks that procured this for me, this is closer to an 11-year distillate. This essentially is Blanton's straight from the barrel. This is the Buffalo Trace mash bill number 2. It's a little bit of a tongue twister. This one clocks in at 121 proof. I tilt the bottle, but you may not even really be able to see. 121 proof. This is barrel 1825, bottle 51 of 92. We're going to tear into this one. This was a little bit pricey to get my hands on simply because it is that highly sought after mash bill number 2. The same stuff that you're blending straight from the barrel, the same stuff as actually this Rock Hill Farms is also the higher rye Buffalo Trace mash bill 2. So excited to break into this one. Let's rip into this. Pour it up and see how it does. So I got a little sunburned on the family camping trip this last days off. So apologize if I look like beet red. Probably wearing this maroon shirt wasn't the best color to set it off. However, you know, that's life. We enjoyed ourselves. It was a good time. Now, I've never actually physically opened. That was kind of a letdown cork pop. But these, if you haven't seen these before, Doc Holliday has a pretty cool bottle toppers. You know, makes it look like a cylinder from a wheel gun or revolver, but really cool. Ooh, smells great. Let's pour this up and see how it does. So the one thing I will say about these Doc Holliday bottles, they are pretty unique. They look badass on the shelf. I do really like the weight of this cork topper. It's got some weight to it. Pretty confident that if this bottle falls over, it's not going to spill. Which wish I could say the same for a lot of the Weller products, but can't. Their corks suck. So it's been 15 minutes. On the nose, it kind of tastes or smells like Blanton's, but I don't want to let my senses betray me here. So let's just dive right in and taste it. True to form, this is super sweet. I'm really surprised that it's as sweet as it is. But boy, does it hit you on the back end. Woo! All right, I can tell where the 121 proof comes in. Definitely a lot of heat. Not right up front. You get overwhelmed with that sweetness right away. I had, this basically to me tasted almost like Weller 12 when it first hit my tongue. But on the back end, that has some power. Yeah, second taste, the rye notes definitely come out. They're a little bit more on the front of the palate. Now, the sweetness is still there. I still have cinnamon. I still get a lot of that nutmeg kind of flavor. But definitely right off the bat, it kind of has that cherry coke punch, but it doesn't have all of the sugar. The sweetness subsides after that spiciness kicks in. But for 121 proof, it hits you right off the bat. I can see myself already getting used to the heat. So let's go in for sip number 3. Man, that is really well rounded. Head and shoulders, this is above a lot of the straight from the barrels that I've tasted, and I haven't tasted a ton. I've tasted 128 proof, a couple that are in the 130s. I think the strongest one I've tasted, or the hottest one I've tasted, is about 134 proof. This tastes hotter than it lets on. This 121 proof, she ain't playing. I would definitely take this over any of the straight from the barrels that I've tasted before, though, and I think that probably has a lot to do with the age statement. I don't know what the typical age statement is on a straight from the barrel, so if you guys do know, comment. You tell me, give me the lowdown. I should have probably done the research before doing the video, but I was too excited to get into this bottle tonight and share this with you guys. So yeah, definitely better than the straight from the barrels that I have in my cabinet that I've opened. I do have several that I haven't ripped into. So I need to work my way through those and see how this compares to this Doc Holliday, because I guarantee you this bottle is not going to last long. Man, that's fucking good. All right, so second bottle of the evening, and boy, am I glad that I waited to make this the second bottle. This is the Rittenhouse Rye 250th anniversary 10-year straight rye whiskey. This is only 100 proof, which is why I'm glad I waited to do this one second, so that I could thoroughly enjoy that heater from Doc Holliday. So this one I knew nothing about, did a little bit of research, but I didn't want to kind of bastardize my review with other people's tasting notes, so I didn't read a whole lot about it other than to find out, see, one, if people are paying retail for this, if they're paying secondary. And I can say that the online retailers are charging about double MSRP for this. Don't know if it's worth that, but I have seen some notes on Bourbonneur and a few other places that give secondary pricing, and it's got about 1.5 to 1.75 its retail value in terms of what people are valuing this as. So if that's any indication that this is good, it should be a heater. So let's rip into this and see how it is. So sometimes I love the way that they foil wrap these. Sometimes I'm not a big fan. This one's not too terrible. So maybe let's get a good cork pop on this one. Oh, better than the Doc Holliday. I'll take it. All right. Pour this up, give her a few minutes to rest and open up, and then we'll be back. Truly, I don't know how so many people can buy these bottles and just let them sit without enjoying them. I've had this thing less than a week, and I'm super stoked to try it. If you're not drinking it, you're not enjoying it, in my opinion. They look just as good in the bar cabinet, half full, as they do full. So rip into these and give them a try. It's been 15 minutes. So I'll tell you right away, this one smells so much sweeter than that Doc Holliday. God, it smells like cherry pie. First impressions, it's clearly a lot weaker than that 121 proof heater, but this tastes like pie right out of the oven. This one doesn't have the spice; it has the sweetness. This is a very, for being a rye whiskey, this is a little interesting. This one has some off the wall tasting notes for a rye that I am not accustomed to tasting. So this is distilled and bottled by Heaven Hill. Not sure how this really compares to my Heaven Hill 90 or my Heaven Hill 19, because I've been kind of too scared to open those. But if this is any indication of how those bottles are, which I should have been clued into the fact that they're almost the same damn bottle, I may be ripping into those here pretty soon. So instead of just making, like I just said, I chided myself for not immediately ripping into some of these highly allocated bottles. I think I need to go home this weekend and break into those. Wow, it almost tastes like a good cigar, a subdued. I will say this: a subdued cigar. That's what I get on my tongue. There's clearly the sweetness there. There's clearly a little bit of that brown sugar type flavor, but I'm not getting a lot of the rye. You probably wouldn't know by the look of me, but I'm a much better writer than I am a speaker. So if I actually sat down and took the time to write out some tasting notes, I'd probably make a great Redditor, probably better than a YouTube reviewer, but really don't care. I'd rather you get my raw, unvarnished opinion. And yeah, this is good. This is it has those kind of apricot tones to it. There's sweetness without being overpoweringly sweet. It's got some kick, but not enough kick to make me put this down or take it slow. This is 100% grade A certified crushable, in my opinion, and for a rye, that's a rarity to come out of my mouth. If you guys have tasted this bottle, hit me up in the comments. Give me a like, give me a follow first, obviously, please, and thank you. But hit me up in the comments and let me know what y'all thought of this one, because this is probably the most interesting rye whiskey I've tasted in a while. Not the most complex, not the best, but definitely the most interesting. It differs from any of the other rye whiskeys that I've tried probably in the last 6-7 months. So might be a good that might be a good candidate for a blind tasting, just to see how they fare against some of the other big dogs in the market. But for being my first foray into anything Rittenhouse, not a bad pickup. So let's have a brief discussion of value. So both really good pickups tonight. Value for money. This one was clearly the more expensive of the two bottles that we sampled tonight. A little bit over $200. May never see another bottle like this again. Knock on wood. Hopefully I do. So value for money. It's worth it for the one-time expense. Very pleased with how this one tastes. It'll probably go very quickly. Now, in terms of the Rittenhouse Rye, wouldn't have gotten this one if it hadn't been for the relationships I've made with the liquor stores near my hometown. And I'm very grateful for those phone calls, texts, and saying, hey, get your butt down here. We got some good stuff. Get it before it's gone. Pretty awesome. Excellent pickup. Now, that being said, this was less than $100 out the door for retail pricing, so less than half what I paid for the Doc Holliday, but no less unique. So both really good pickups, both very valuable in my opinion. If you were lucky enough to find this Rittenhouse Rye, definitely grab one. I think they're probably in short supply based on what I've seen them going for on secondary. So I hope you got one when you had the chance. For the Doc Holliday, I don't think you're ever going to find one of these. You snooze, you lose. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Fantastic grab. Hats off to my buddy that helped me get my hands on this. You know who you are. Appreciate you guys tuning in this evening. We had tasted two really good bottles. Appreciate you sticking around here in my tasting notes. Love to hear your feedback. Give me a like, give me a follow, give me a share. In the meantime, drink early, drink often, drink responsibly. I'm out.